Welcome to the restricted area. I'm Zach Harper. To my left is Wosny Lambre. And if you like sports, do we have a recommendation for you? Go to theathletic.com/restricted area. You get $3.99 a month for a subscription to The Athletic. It's the best sports coverage in the world. You gotta get it.
Get it, baby.
We're roughly 1/3 of the way through the NBA regular season, and we thought it'd be a great time to check in on the old MVP race. And yeah, I know. I just yelled at someone like 2 weeks ago for talking about the MVP race too early.
You know what's disappointing? When someone is so lazy to find content that they start doing MVP rankings and discussions in mid or late January. We don't need to talk about that.
But that was 2 weeks ago! And this is different, Woz. This isn't just the MVP race. This is betting odds for the MVP race. That's totally different.
That's right, Zach, and there's nothing better than gambling with other people's money.
It's the easiest and best way to gamble. Anyway, we've got BetMGM's MVP odds, and we thought we'd sort through the top 9 of that list as of the week of February 8th.
What's so interesting about the MVP is that there isn't an agreed upon criteria for what makes a player MVP worthy. Nobody agrees, right? So it's not just who racked up the most wins or who scored the most points.
Agent, coaches, players, and GMs, they all love to curry, not Steph, favor with NBA writers and voters who ultimately decide who the winner will be for MVP. We love to kick around narrative. That becomes big, right? Because you have year 18 LeBron or triple-double Russell Westbrook every single year, which factors in.
Like when my guy Daryl Demo Morey wrote this in 2017 about James Harden's MVP case. I always try to dream up what new criteria/narrative they will dream up to rob him of the award each year.
That year, the league's MVP finalists were Harden and Russell Westbrook. Harden would normally have a leg up on the fact that his team, the Rockets, had won 8 more games than Westbrook's Thunder Squad. But as we know, Westbrook was the first player since Oscar Robertson to average a triple-double. And that narrative really held true with writers.
Also, Zach, he stayed.
He stayed.
When Kevin Durant left OKC for the Super Warriors, you know the people eat up a full loyalty narrative story. That's what made Westbrook end up getting 69 first-place votes to Harden's paltry 22.
So, Woz, who holds the narrative this season?
LeBron James. LeBron James. LeBron James.
Let's start with the Claw, Kawhi Leonard, who's never won regular season MVP, but this is a great bet. He's at plus 3,500 to win MVP right now, and Paul George just went down with an injury, so the spotlight's gonna be on him, Woz. But we don't seem to care that they had this crazy Clipper collapse, at least when it comes to Kawhi, right? He seems to be slander proof. He seems to be narrative proof with all this stuff. Even the game load management stuff doesn't really affect him anymore. Plus, whenever the Clippers fail, we just lump that stuff on Paul George and keep it pushing.
Right. And it's kind of crazy because he started the season with the 5th best odds to win MVP. The Clippers have one of the best records in the NBA right now, and they have a historically great offense. Paul George is now out with injury, so Kawhi's going to be shouldering a bigger load. It just makes no sense that the value here of his bet is at plus 3,500 now. That's ridiculous, Zach.
I know it was. I get we're down on the Clippers and everything, but it can't be this low. We can't be this down on the Clippers. Kawhi seems to be, kind of still the golden child, even though everything's very Clippery.
And, to be fair, his case is hindered by the fact that Paul George is having his most efficient scoring season by far of his career. And he's also having his best playmaking season of his career with a 26 assist percentage. So, yes, when your teammate is playing at that level, it hurts your MVP case. But come on, man. It's Kawhi Leonard.
Next up, Damian Lillard, who has a great relationship with the media and a very strong narrative play. But the injuries have kind of piled up a little too much here, Woz. Now, we would love for it to be Dame's time, but I don't think even I could bet this one, not even at plus 3,000.
Yeah, the Blazers just aren't very good right now, and they're getting worse all the time, right? The team is performing below preseason expectations, and that's not how you win MVPs in this league. You get rewarded for overperforming your expectations. Their defense is horrible. The guys are just dropping like flies. I just don't see it for Dame right now.
Also, like, if they have kind of similar stats, there's no way it's going to Dame over Steph. Like, I think people would love the Steph bounce back more than the Dame first-time MVP.
Light skin privilege.
Uh-oh. Coming into the season, it was actually kind of hard to believe that reigning two-time MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo, would win a third straight MVP, mostly because people seem to really dislike that the Bucks keep flaming out of the playoffs every single year. Plus, we haven't had 3 straight MVPs since Larry Bird in the 80s. Michael Jordan couldn't do it, Shaq and Kobe never came close, and LeBron James couldn't do it.
Nah, they weren't about to let this cat be the next Larry Bird, that's for sure. Plus, after losing in the playoffs last year, Giannis said this about the MVP. Don't call me MVP until I'm a champion. Not exactly the best marketing strategy, Zach.
You think he wants us to still follow his instructions? I don't know about that one. Even though he was actually the odds-on favorite to three-peat before the season, he's fallen since. He's at about plus 1,200, which is still good value, but I just don't see it, Waz. Like, what would have to happen for Giannis to win his third straight MVP?
He would have to win the championship before the media cast their votes, which is only one problem, Zach. That's logistically impossible.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, Yanni. I don't know. Next up, two-time MVP Steph Curry, who is balling out of his mind right now. He dropped 57 on the Mavs. He lit up the Blazers for 62. But Waz, he's not quite at that same level that we saw in the unanimous MVP season in 2016. So he's got a lot of work to do, especially considering the circumstances of this team. But plus 1,100, not bad.
Not bad. And the thing is, yeah, sure, he's not playing as well as he did in 2016, which is an historic NBA season, right? Like an all-time great season. But he's still playing at an MVP level this year. The problem is he's dragging around some absolutely mediocre talent, and so he's probably not going to rack up the requisite win total that you generally need to win the MVP.
Yeah, but Waz, when you think about it, when Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre are like your 2 and 3 scorers on the team, shouldn't that make you more valuable? Like, doesn't that embolden his MVP case? Like, shouldn't that mean more?
I think you have a point there.
And Draymond Green can't score. Free Steph Curry.
I am not a robot.
Next up, we got the Slim Reaper, Kevin Durant, at plus 700. I'm not quite sure what the narrative would be here, Waz. You know, he's coming back from the Achilles tear, and we do love a good comeback story, but there's this weird energy around the Nets and just how they're viewed, especially since they acquired James Harden to pair with him and Kyrie Irving. So I'm just not sure he's gonna get enough votes.
Another guy actually playing at an MVP level, but the problem for him is that he has the opposite problem of Steph Curry. He's playing with too many great players, and the media generally likes to dock you points when you play with other exemplary NBA players.
That's true, and plus the defense isn't there. But apropos of nothing, this has nothing to do with the MVP conversation. I just want to take this a hard left here. Did you see Kyrie Irving and his walking stick? Like, is Barclays Center on the way to Mordor? Why does he have a walking stick? He's not an old person in a mall. Coming into the season, Luka Doncic was the dark horse MVP pick, despite literally everybody saying he was their dark horse MVP selection. Wrong. Which kind of makes him this gleaming, bright, white light of MVP favoritism.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Nah. Not this year. Sorry. No MVP this year, brother.
Yeah, since then, it's kind of been all downhill for Luka. Like, his numbers are pretty good, but that team's undermanned. They don't play defense, and people are kind of calling him a whiner now. Don't tell Mark Cuban I said that, but people have been calling him a whiner. I just don't know. Even at plus 700 Waz, which is good value, I don't know what he can do, not to win MVP, but maybe even get into the top 5 in voting.
Yeah, voters like a nice, neat, sort of trajectory, right? Like upward rise. He's been worse than he was in the bubble, in the playoffs, and nobody's gonna vote for a guy to be MVP when he played much better than last season.
Now it's time for Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers. He's actually got the most improved MVP odds since the start of the season. He started out at plus 2,500, and now it's down to plus 550. That's ridiculous. Through 19 games this season, Embiid is averaging 29 points, over 10.5 rebounds, over 2.5 assists, over a steal, over a block, in almost 32 minutes per game.
Hey, Carmine, how's it going, Paisan? Yeah. Give me 500 smackaroos on the Joel Embiid MVP odds. Half a stack on Embiid. Yup. Lock it in.
Waz, hold on. Waz. Are you on the phone with a bookie?
We got to get this paper, baby. No, but seriously, Zach, I think we're in the heavyweight championship division of the MVP race here.
Wait, Waz. Joel Embiid, he's in good condition now. Like, he's not really heavy anymore.
Right, but that's why he's in the heavyweight division, Zach, because he is playing the best ball of his career. And for the first time, he's a legitimate MVP candidate. We all know when Joel Embiid is engaged, he's one of the best defensive players in the league, if not just the best outright. And he's carrying the burden offensively. He's just having a dynamite season. Philly has bounced back from an extremely disappointing season last year. This is a serious candidate right here.
Yeah, plus Waz, like, you know, they're one of the best teams, if not the best team in the East so far. His jumper's fallen. You mentioned the defense. Like, JoJo is for real. We got two more Waz, and this time it's Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets at plus 400. Now, he just dropped 50 points, 12 assists, and 8 rebounds in an incredible individual performance against the Kings, but his team is hovering around 500, Waz.
Yeah, he also lost that game that you're talking about.
What's funny is Russ in 2017, the MVP argument against him was that his team just doesn't win enough. And Jokic, his team's barely above 500. Like, Jokic is doing incredible things. His stats are ridiculous, but Waz, they don't win. And if they don't go on an extended run, I'm not sure he's going to get the votes. So my question to you, is Jokic going to get the same, yeah, but his team didn't, arguments that Russ got?
No, I don't think so, because there was a fair amount of chicanery going on during that 2017 Westbrook season, right? He was assist hunting like a mug. And then, of course, we remember, as we mentioned, very early on in our restricted area run, Zach, Steven Adams would literally tackle guys in order to get Westbrook the necessary rebounding stats that he wanted. I don't think anybody is perceiving Jokic to be doing any of that. He's legitimately scoring when they need him to. He's their number one facilitator on offense, and his defense has been generally passable. He's been great.
And finally, we've got the king himself, LeBron James, at plus 300. He's the front runner right now. And let's go back to 2020 when LeBron James said this about Giannis winning MVP. It pissed me off. That's my true answer. It pissed me off because out of 101 votes, I got 16 first place votes. That's what pissed me off more than anything. I'm not saying that winner wasn't deserving of the MVP, but that pissed me off.
So Zach, now presidential campaigns are starting earlier and earlier all the time. Mysteriously, a politician will just end up in Iowa eating a corn dog, and that's how you know they're basically announcing that they're going to run, and they're doing this again earlier and earlier and earlier all the time. LeBron is now applying this to MVP campaigns, Zach.
I mean, that's a smart move, but Waz, here's my question, right? Like, despite the obvious affection the league has for LeBron James, is he really the best player right now, or is this more narrative driven?
You'd have to say it's a little bit of both, right? He's absolutely the engine that drives the Lakers offense, right? Even still in year 18, he's doing that. He's shooting a career high on three-point makes and three-point percentages. He just looks as good as ever. And he does have some of the narrative thrust behind him. The old guy showing the young bucks that he could do it one more time. Plus, Zach, the media owes LeBron an MVP, man, for what they did that year when they gave it to D-Rose. That was a travesty.
That was a ridiculous, like, I'm not, no offense to D-Rose, like, but, you know, I think you're right. Plus, we got to remember, as much as it's supposed to be a single season, in-season award, this stuff builds, right? Like LeBron James coming through, winning the championship in the bubble, giving the league the result they wanted, giving everyone the result that they felt legitimized a broken pandemic cut off season. Like that stuff matters and that stuff carries over. And sometimes, much like you're mentioning with the 2011 MVP award to Derrick Rose, sometimes we're kind of like, hey, LeBron, good work. We got you on the next one.
And not only is he going to win the MVP this year, Zach, the Lakers are going to win another title. He's gonna win another MVP.
Oh.
He's gonna build another I Promise school. He gonna win again when Bronny James comes to the league. He gonna keep winning forever.
We've also got a link for a risk-free first bet of up to $600 from BetMGM. Just go to theathletic.com/bballbets. That'll do it, everybody. Thanks for watching The Restricted Area. Make sure you subscribe to The Athletic's YouTube channel for more videos, and check out The Athletic NBA Show podcast, free wherever you find podcasts, and ad-free when you subscribe to The Athletic.